Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing with our series 4 weeks of famous philosophers. In this video we're going to be looking at Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz, the most prolific philosopher of all time, inventor of calculus, and the last universal genius. Now, it is impossible to briefly explain the sheer magnitude of the contributions of Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz. In his life, he made significant contributions to the current practice of, or predictions for the future of, mathematics, logic, ethics, probability theory, biology, medicine, geology, psychology, theology, linguistics, philosophy, physics, technology, philology, history, law, and politics. He wrote over 50,000 documents throughout his lifetime. He communicated via letters with over 1,000 different people during his life. A compilation of the complete works of Leibniz was started in the early 1900s and has yet to be completed. 57 volumes have been published so far, representing only about half of his lifetime. It is anticipated that the project will not be complete until the middle of the 21st century. Hopefully, then, it goes without saying that any attempts to give a comprehensive summary of the works and ideas of Leibniz cannot be accomplished in a single video. He was called a universal genius because he made so many widespread contributions to so many different disciplines. Therefore, instead of attempting to do that, we will touch on some influential elements of his work in mathematics and his work in philosophy. Specifically, we're going to touch on his contributions to calculus and that debate, and his ideas about modality and religion. But first, we're going to take a look at his life, very briefly. Leibniz was born in 1645 in Leipzig. Leibniz's father was a professor at the University of Leipzig, and his son had free range of his father's library while growing up, which gave him access to texts that most people would not have had access to until attending an official university. He entered his father's university at the age of 15. By the age of 16, he had graduated with a bachelor's degree in philosophy. At the age of 18, he was awarded a master's degree. He was given a bachelor's degree in law after 1 year of study at age 19. That same year, he published his first book. At age 20, he earned a doctorate in law, as well as his license to practice law at a different university, because his father's university would not accept him into the doctoral program because he was too young. For most of his life, Leibniz made a living in law, politics, and international diplomacy. He did fall out of favor in his later life due in large part to the dispute between Leibniz and Isaac Newton regarding who invented calculus. Now, around the same time, both Leibniz and Newton claim to have invented calculus. They accused each other back and forth of plagiarism, and there was a whole dispute about who made up calculus first. Generally, today, we consider them both as independent inventors of calculus, and there are arguments one way or the other. The notation that we use today for calculus can be credited to Leibniz. However, at the time, it was a heated debate, and it led to him falling out of favor with many people. Due to this, and other disputes near the end of his life, very few notable thinkers and politicians attended his funeral, even though, as noted before, he kept correspondence with thousands of people, and his grave was left unmarked for many years. However, we're talking about philosophy here, so let's talk about one of Leibniz's significant contributions to philosophy. So he did revolutionary work in the area of modality or possible worlds. According to Leibniz, other possible worlds, these are worlds that don't have some kind of logical contradiction in them, are ideas in the mind of God. Leibniz was one of the three major rationalists, and so he was a rationalist. He used God to explain a lot of his things, and this was one of the elements of his philosophy that God helped in explaining. There are an infinite number of possible worlds. God looked at all of those possible worlds and chose one to actualize and make real, and that's the world we're living in. In fact, God actualized the best of all possible worlds. If there are problems in this world, that's because a better world could not be actualized because of some logical contradiction. Leibniz imagined these possible worlds as a pyramid, with each level getting closer and closer to the perfect best of all possible worlds at the top. This pyramid culminates in this world, the actual world, which is the best of all possible worlds. According to Leibniz, there's always a worse world than any world you can imagine, and so therefore there are an infinite number of possible worlds that were unactualized in the mind of God. This was known as kind of a sense of philosophical optimism, or at least modal optimism, that no matter what is going wrong here, in all the other possible worlds, things would be going worse, because this is the best of all possible worlds. That was Gottfried von Leibniz, most prolific philosopher of all time, inventor of calculus, and the last universal genius. Next up, we are going to be looking at Voltaire, who didn't like Leibniz much himself. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.